I had an update on my computer and it kind of wiped all of my OBS settings. So I think I've got it working. The preview at least is showing everything working properly, but if anyone happens to be in the channel right now and is able to confirm that they can hear me, I would appreciate it because I'm really not sure. Um, but yeah, it kind of freaked me out a little bit, so we're starting a little bit later than I had planned. I wanted to get started right at 8, but started panicking because I couldn't get the microphone to work. Apparently it was switched off and I couldn't remember the exact, I'm gonna have to like take screenshots and stuff, but even that, the program that I used to view my screenshots, that was borked up, so I have to redo it. Um, but yeah, it was kind of nerve-wracking because I've been up since like 6:30 and it only just finished updating my computer like a half an hour ago. So it really kind of freaked me out. But yeah, I don't know if anyone's able to actually hear this or not. And I'm hesitant to do the tweet until I can actually be sure that that is the case. Excuse me. Anyway, in the event that I am transmitting some sound here and everything, I would like to mention that today is the kickoff for Shades Eve in WildStar. They actually got a little started a little bit early. Yesterday they unlocked some decor packs on the shop. You can see that uh, housing. Yeah, we've got the Dark Delights decor pack, which has an assortment of the gourds, spooky eyes, and trees. It's quite a few. There's multiples of many of them. So a great deal for the 115 Omnibits or 230 Protobucks if you decide to go with that route. There's the Faces of Shades Eve decor pack right there. Again, it's a few masks, some gourds, multiples of some of those. Hey, Poi, good morning. Can you hear me all right? I'm been waiting for someone to confirm because, like I said, I had to do an update on my computer and it kind of wiped all my settings and stuff, so I'm not sure everything's working okay. Um, this one, probably not my favorite pack because while the gourds are nice, I'm not interested in the little heads and stuff. Did you buy all of them? Well, I'm definitely planning to get to the Dark Delight one, and then I want the Graveyard Decor pack. That one's got all of the new headstones. There's the classic, cracked, the fancy, and the Draken one. The Draken covered with a little bit of stuff on there. Ah, excellent, boy. Thank you for confirming that. It is working okay. And then, of course, a lot of the Gothic fence parts. I think it's got posts, fence walls, and the gate, and then even some trees as well. So that's another good assortment. Lots of multiples on those two, and for the same price. And then finally, there's, well, no, actually, there's two others. The Haunted Hayride pack, that one comes with, again, some gourds. And these are more like the little effigies, the wagons. It's like the little stuffed uh, peoples and critters and stuff. And then the last one is the lighting. It's all of the light posts, string lights, windows, um, things like that. Again, probably not my first choice, but you know, if you missed Shades Eve last year, this is a great time to pick up all of those goodies. One other thing I would like to mention before we get started on our house tours today. Is Carbine did announce that there is let me make sure I get this right, the Jack Shade's House of Haunts contest for 2016. They've done this in the past, um, so I think some of our veteran builders will kind of know what to expect, especially level of competition and everything. But apparently they're going to be having there will be a total of 6 winners, a top 3 for North America and a top 3 for Europe. And do remember that there's a set of rules in the forum. I think it's in the news and announcements section. There's 2 separate ones, one for NA region, one for EU region. So whatever region you're affiliated with, make sure you check out the right rules and regulations on that. But they did specify that any submissions that infringe on trademarks or copyrights will have to be disqualified. I want to mention that specifically because in past competitions we've seen some things like related to like movies, um, uh, you know, specific franchises that probably would be disqualified this year. I don't know if that was included last year or not. I don't remember them specifying that. So keep that in mind if you're doing something like Nightmare Before Christmas or uh, I don't know, Adam's Family or something that's already, you know, registered or trademarked or copyrighted or whatever. You might either confirm with the developer that that specifically is not allowed. I suspect not. I think they're looking for just things out of our own imagination, our own, creativity. So uh, keep that in mind when you're considering submitting your plot. Don't be discouraged if you have something like that and it doesn't, get accepted. That's probably why. So just keep that in mind. Um, the deadline for this is October 30th at 11:59 p.m. PDT. You're supposed to turn in 3 screenshots of your plots or your build or whatever it is. And based off of those screenshots, that's what they will be determining who wins. They're going to base it on creativity, spookiness, and the quality of the screenshots. So if you're not so good at taking screenshots and you know somebody that is, maybe enlist their help in showing off your plot to the best advantage, because clearly that's going to be a big factor, especially if they're not planning to actually visit the plots before judging them. I think they're just going to be judging based off of the screenshots. So, you know, keep that in mind and play that to your advantage if possible. I know there was a few last year that really had some snazzy screenshots, but when you went to the plot, it was kind of like not as grand as you might have thought. And that was just because they worked those screenshots really nicely. So again, if you're not really good at taking them, find somebody that is and use that as your submission. Morning, Bucky and Bones. Good morning to all of you. Okay, so I think that's all of the announcements besides our usual mention that we do have scheduled maintenance dates at the usual time, 4 a.m. PDT, 1 p.m. CEST time. I didn't catch how long it's supposed to be down. 40 minutes is what it says on the announcement. Lily Munster, huh? Well, you know, I don't think it'll matter if, as long as it's from your own imagination, I don't think the name of the plot will anything or the character itself. But like, I would guess, the things like my Frankenstein and stuff probably wouldn't be acceptable. I assume that's considered trademarked or whatever. I don't know. Uh, I have no idea. I probably won't be submitting anything myself because I'm not really doing a full plot kind of thing. But for those of you that are or are in the process of it, just keep that in mind that registered or trademark, copyrighted, whatever you want to call it, materials will disqualify you if you're going to submit your home. So again, like if you're doing something like, I can't even think of anything, like I guess if you specifically modeled it after a film or something, that probably wouldn't be appropriate, I guess. So just, again, I keep saying it, but keep that in mind. You know, be aware of that stipulation in the rules. Okay, so let's get started. This is House Tours Day, so we are going to be taking a look at some plots of other builders. Um, we are on Exile side because last week we did Dominions, and yeah, boy, well, that's the point. You know, don't do it because you know you think you have to. Like me, I would love to participate in the competition, but I'm really not in the mindset to do a full-on spooky plot. I'm just doing a little room. You know, maybe that would be allowed. I don't know. It doesn't. It just says plots. I assume that means they want the whole plot to be Shades Eve themed. And at the moment, I don't think I've actually used any Shades Eve decor. And it seemed to me that you needed to use at least some of that as well. So we'll see. I might submit some screenshots of the room if I manage to finish it in time just for the funsies, and we'll see what they think about it. But it seems kind of weird because it's on that winter plot and it's just that the haunted house room. So again, I don't think that would be very fair to those that make a full plot and really dedicate their entire build to the season. So, anywho, this is let me see, Holly Fairfield's plot. It's called Sky Plot number 1478. At first glance, it's a little empty looking. It's very open. You know, we have so many builds that are like just flush with, you know, trees and decor and just kind of slaps you in the face. A lot of people go out of their way to decorate around the platform to kind of hide it, disguise it, whatever they got to do. This one's pretty uh, open, uh, but there are some nice little gems of things that I think some of you will find fun to look at. Now you can see they did have like the Protostar Insta-Hills. Again, you can tell when people use them because if they have the clutter showing all around the rest of the plot, the clutter disappears when the hills are used. Some find ways of disguising that by putting grasses and stuff on it, but others not. So here are a couple of fab kits. We've got the garden and the wishing well fab kit. And they've added to it by putting up a little barn here. I like the little barn. It's very simple, but uh, uh, kind of elegant in a way. I like the way the pieces are put together, especially like the curved roof. A lot of us have trouble with trying to make the walls make it look like it was purposely built that way, and this is a good way of doing it. They've used 2x4s and metal edge 2x4s and decking pieces to kind of box it all in. So it looks really cute. It's just a little collection of random bits that you might expect to find out in like a tool shed, a little barn kind of thing. But I even like the way they did the little porch part. It's very simple, but cute. It looks like they've got, that's the Granock lamp, I think. I don't see that too often. Trimmed it with some of the hedge bushes. And again, even though this one's curved and this one's a little bit of a peaked roof, it still kind of matches. That's another thing I find fun. about when you come into like a little village, a little town, having the structures look similar but different enough where there's a lot of variety. Oh, thank you, Poi. Did forget that. I am really bad, but I blame the nervousness about this morning trying to get this set up right. It has been done. Thank you very much for reminding me, Poi. So back here, I don't know if some of you remember I think it's the target practice fab kit. It's the one, it looks like a bullseye. It's kind of sunk down into the ground. It has a little dude sitting in there in a little shed, and it looks like somebody bombed it. This is what this thing here, let me go over here, make sure there's nothing, it's just a crate. This kind of reminds me of that, but it's something they made themselves. So it's like it's a crash thing or explosion. It looks, I mean, you see the little rocket here, the little test dummy, some bones and stuff. So I'm not quite sure what their idea was, if it was maybe to mimic that particular fab kit. Again, they're using one of the Protostar Hills, the one with the little divot in the middle, the donut kind of thing, and using that as the place where this explosion has happened, this crater thingy. But all it is I think it's the swirly stones surrounding most of it, and this part here is just an upside down campfire. Small campfire you get, you turn upside down, and it kind of looks like a bear rug. We've seen this used for one of the haunted houses that we toured, I think it was last year. They used it on the door, and it gave it a really creepy look. And of course, it looks like the smoke and stuff comes right up from it, and it looks like they've also added like some of the other smokes. I see a little bit of brown coming off of here to really kind of play it up that this is some damaged area. But basically, that's just um, weird how the fire goes away if you turn your camera at a certain angle. But basically, it's just the campfire upside down, but it gives some pretty. I use the same thing on the haunted door at the mall for that room that I've been working on. I used them as some of the blinking eyes because I ran out of blinky eyes, but now I can get some extras with the stuff on the shop. Let's see. Over here we have. Again, it's a couple of fab kits. There's the oh, what is that? The kiddie pool fab kit, I think. But over here they put another little like storage, got the crate as a storage box, and then this little place here. And it looks to me like kind of like a gym slash practice area because they got the targets, they've got the little boxing bag here, basically just a couple of sandbags together with the hanging chain. Again, they're using some of those new smoke particle effects to make it look like they just fired the gun, which is kind of clever. I've not seen that used in that way before. And then, of course, last but not least, on the outside, there is the little treehouse type of thing. Now, they do have a ladder leading up to it, but just due to the angle of the ladder, you're not really able to get up to it in that way. I'm going to see if I can reach it from this side. It'll look like it. But I'll see if I can kind of show what it looks like inside. You've got a little seating area, some of the mats, the tribal mats, the flat ones and the rolled ones, a little bit of decoration with lights and stuff. It's basically just a dome, some decking pieces, and having that capped off. Looks like maybe some pillars for this little beam. there. Then we go into the main house. And one of my favorite things about prefab homes, I don't particularly like using them myself because they're kind of, I feel they're a little bit more confining as far as the space allotment and everything. If I want something a little bigger or a little smaller, I have to really kind of rework it. More so than if I just crafted the house out of my own doings. But I do like seeing how others divvy up the space that they are allotted in the prefab homes, and this is a good example of that. Usually this is one big room, and you can see how they've blocked off certain parts, and just the pieces that they've chosen to use is interesting, with the granite pillars against that bright red of the Exile walls. It's a very lush looking kind of wall. Now notice that they've reworked the door here. They've added their own faux door to cover up the actual one. They've got, again, they're following with the granite pillars. Then they've got layered glass and then bottles as the handles. With, it looks like the edge of a wall being used as a divider between the doors. But so many of us don't even think about modifying the look of the doors, especially on the inside. And so I found this rather interesting. Again, I don't even know if I can get out of the thing. You have to be at a distance. Again, they didn't change it from the front, from the outside. It just looks like it comes. But from the inside, they've modified it. I just found that interesting. And I like the way they did it as well. So here's like the living room. They've got, you can see the balcony up above where some of the other living space is. You can see they've kind of ignored that while they've blocked up part of this railing that's there on the actual door, they've just kind of let it be. Others might take to go ahead and hiding that a little bit, but I think it would have kind of made it a little too more compact, and they just left it like that. The stairs are metal-edged 2x4s. And again, the railing here is just the same material that they're using for the walls. And you have a little reading nook up above. Again, a lot of us use those filled up bookcases, but it's almost like, I would say 8 out of 10 builders that use them cover up the case itself. They just have the books showing. I don't know if that's just a testament that we don't like the bookcase itself, we just like the books, but it always looks nice and trim and neat when folks do that. And this is another way. We've seen some where they've just built it with 2x4s and that kind of thing. But this is another example. I just separated it with the pillars again to carry out that theme of the granite pillars. Now this is usually just one big door and they've divvied it up into this upper section here. See, like the stairs usually goes all the way down. And this again is a clever way of divvying up the space. So this is the upstairs. Got a bedroom with a kind of like a desk area. Now, if you're wondering about this, I turn away so it's not lit up. It looks like it's just a book with some trophy on it. That's just the top of the speaker. It's sunk down so you can't see the speaker part. That's why it turns green, because it actually, you would turn it on and off.